Adam, you have a Oscars exclusive for us.
Well, I'm not sure if it's an Oscars exclusive, but I mean, the red carpet, you know, it's always a big moment for everyone to come out looking their best.
Were you there?
I was there, can you tell? No, I wasn't there. Julia Fox came out wearing a really provocative number, right? There wasn't much going on up here, and when I say much going on, I mean in terms of fabric.
There was a lot going on up there.
There was a lot going on up there. There wasn't much going on up there in terms of sartorial decisions making.
I mean, a big decision had been made.
A big decision had been made, but it wasn't anything to do with cloth.
Little cloth, no.
Little cloth.
No.
Now, I've heard from
I thought she looked beautiful.
She looked great. She did look beautiful. We haven't been in touch. We should make it clear that we haven't been in touch with Julia's team. But I had heard that there were actually a couple of other dresses in the running for Julia Fox that evening. It wasn't always a dead cert that she was going to be wearing that racy number. The point I'm making is that it's a bum fight to get to the Oscars red carpet. Everyone wants to be looking their absolute best. And in the process, I fear and I wonder whether there are a lot of smaller independent labels getting screwed over by perhaps larger fashion houses who have more power and more sway to get their pieces onto the carpet because of perhaps commercial deals, or certainly because of connections, nepotism within Hollywood, and connections within the industry that mean they can get clothes on certain people. Now, we know that it's a political and PR hotbed out there on the red carpet. Everyone wants to be seen wearing the best look, and those designers that are showcased on the red carpet are going to see a huge spike in sales. So actually, all I'm saying is that perhaps we should think about the little guys out there that are spending months making clothes for some of these actors that are actually not being worn. And my sense is actually, from what I've been told about this year's red carpet decision making processes, is that there's actually been quite a lot of hard work going into looks that don't actually end up anywhere near the red carpet.
And you've seen the sketches for the dress that didn't make it?
I've seen sketches for the dress that didn't make it for Julia Fox. Allegedly, I haven't reached out to Julia Fox for comment, but I have seen sketches from a designer who had told me he was working on sketches for Julia Fox's red carpet look.
Quite a different look.
It was a different look, and it has taken that designer significant upheaval of his own commercial processes. He's lost, I'd imagine, time and money making this dress for Julia that wasn't actually worn.
Perhaps ironically, the dress is actually more in line with what most people were wearing. It's very classic, and there was a very classic 1940s old Hollywood glamour vibe going on. I think Carey Mulligan had the mermaid dress, perhaps most famously. Other people had worn dresses that had been worn in the past. So it would have fitted right in. I think she would look great.
She would look great. It was a very classic dress. Yeah, as you say, the old sort of style of those beautiful ball gowns that Hollywood and the Oscars was associated with in the past. It played very much into that style, but she went for much more of a provocative look. Maybe Kanye noticed. Who knows? But I
don't think they really speak anymore.
Well, yeah, but maybe who knows?
I don't think anybody really speaks to Kanye anymore.
Well, least of all Julia Fox. I think the point I'm making is that there's this huge underground current of people working really hard for the Oscars. Designers, stylists, people doing loads and loads of legwork, and they're not getting a look in. And actually, it's a really savage process, and perhaps that's something that people should be talking more about.
It's tough. You know who else looked great at the Oscars?
Who else looked great at the Oscars?
John Cena.
Well, you know what? Look, I'm going to bang the woke drum here and say that I'm not sure that 5-year-olds sitting at home necessarily needed to see John Cena butt naked with a leaflet with an envelope over his genitals. I don't know if it sends the right message. It's
what
a bit
message
weird.
Does it send?
It sends
he's a
watch the
wrestler.
Oscars.
That's what he's pranced around in for his entire career.
It sends watch the Oscars message. Ratings have dropped generally. There was a little spike this year.
They spiked this year. 20 million again this year, almost.
They have dropped in general over the last.
And I reckon at least 2 million. It was 1 million for each of John Cena's pecs.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's job well done. Then I guess you would argue. I mean,
imagine if he'd taken the envelope away. Another million there.
It would be more. That would outdo the Will Smith slap, wouldn't it? That'd be a next level.
What would you call that?
Cena gate? The Cena slap.
Yeah, maybe.
Depends what he did with it.
Yes, he was actually covered up. If you look at the photos taken from the side, he had a sort of flesh-toned cod piece that gripped around his junk and up around his butt. It was not as sexy as it looked.
So it wouldn't have been the next slap. Wouldn't have been another Will Smith slap.
It wouldn't. No, it would have no.
Would have been more of a thud.
Yeah, perhaps.
Pat.
I think it's very puritanical to be criticising John Cena for coming out in what his mama gave him.
Well, let's move on to just telling us generally, Steve, what did you think? I mean, while we're here, what did you think? You actually thought, despite all of our negativity, that it was a pretty good year, right?
I thought it was a great year for the Oscars. Yeah, I think it was great to see Divine Joy Randolph getting her Oscar. Her speech brought a tear to my eye. Like, she just seems like a wonderful human being. I was really glad to see her win, even though it was at the expense of Lily Gladstone, who would have been the first Native American woman to win an Oscar. So that was unfortunate. It's great to see Robert Downey Jr. Sort of cement his comeback story with winning an Oscar after his sort of struggles with drugs and alcohol, and he's absolutely been welcomed back into the Hollywood fold. You saw Christopher Nolan finally getting his Oscar after helping keep Hollywood afloat over the last decade. He's made some of the biggest blockbusters and some of the best, most intelligent blockbusters that we've seen in cinema. So wonderful to see him win. Emma Stone getting an award for a film that is, she's always wonderful, she's one of my favourite actresses, but a film that is genuinely weird and genuinely pushes boundaries, and it's just great to see that film getting some rewards as well.
Yeah, Lily Gladstone as well, wearing a beautiful piece, a Native American created piece, I believe, as well, that lovely dress. Yeah, some people have got a moral compass when it comes to what they wear on the red carpet, it turns out, after all, and Lily Gladstone's one of them. If only if we could all just be more Lily, I guess.
Yeah. It was interesting to see the Barbification of the Oscars, even though Barbie only came away with one award, which was the Best Song for What Was I Made For by Billie Eilish. But the Oscars, it went pink. Everyone was talking about Barbie. Probably the most memorable scenes, the one that we'll be thinking of, what was the Oscars 2024 like? It was Ryan Gosling's performance of I'm Just Ken, which was amazing, with Slash on the stage. It was pretty special.
Yeah, and then obviously like a big trend for Pink this year as well. America Ferrera, Amelia de Moldenberg from Chicken Shop Date, Ariana Grande. There was a big sort of pink wash on the red carpet as well, wasn't there? Was that perhaps a bit of a PR stunt playing into the idea of people wanting to be seen wearing the trending colour of the year? I don't know, maybe, but pink was definitely there on the carpet.
Yeah, it was nice to see Barbie have a presence, even if it wasn't in the running for really winning anything, which I think is probably right. It's a good film, but it's not a great film. It's not an Oscar film.
Yeah, I guess it spoke to the idea of the fun around Barbie in general, didn't it? It was a really joyous moment, a poppy moment for us all last year, but it didn't necessarily have much more depth than that, and perhaps that's what it was at the Oscars. It was entertainment, pure entertainment.
And Emma Stone was singing along so much to I'm Just Ken that she split her dress, and she was holding her dress at the back when she came to collect her Best Actress award. That shows how much fun it was.
Love that. So much fun.
I love you bigger than the whole sky, my girl. So thank you so much. Don't look at the back of my dress. Thank you.
So what did you think overall then? I mean, are you going to be watching next year? Did you make it through the ceremony?
I made it through. I'll be watching next year. It's never the most exciting thing in the world. Jimmy Kimmel is so-so as a presenter, I think. It's still playing it safe after the Will Smith slap. They don't want controversy. The biggest controversy this year was Al Pacino kind of making a mess of his speech, but it was such a small cock-up that it was hardly a cock-up at all. Well, what about you? Are you an Oscars fan?
I'm an Oscars fan. I didn't make it through this year. I still think that the cachet around the Oscars, I'm always a little bit surprised by this kind of conversation about relevancy, because I still think the cachet of the gongs themselves is just as high as it's ever been. Oscars is the one awards that people hang off of and care about. Yeah,
it's the Michelin of film and TV.
Yeah, no one cares about any of the other awards. People care about the Oscars. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm not a super big fan of all of the certain elements of gossip, the kernels of wisdom I've learned about the red carpet culture and the ways in which the dog eat dog scraps to get the dresses onto the red carpet.
We'll have to get you on the red carpet next year.
I mean, yeah,
I'd love to see that.
We'll have some fun.
We might have to style you up a little bit.
We'll have some designers fighting over themselves to dress me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've learned some stuff about the Oscars this year that's put a bad taste in my mouth, but I think the gongs themselves always will speak for themselves.
So that's our opinion on the Oscars. I would like to know what you guys think about the Oscars. Did you think John Cena's nakedness was inappropriate? Do you think Julia Fox went too far with her dress? Why don't you let us know in the comments below.